I'm gonna take the Alela Brawl deck and expand it to Commander, but Commander also with just with standard cards. I'm still playing my my little game. I don't know how long I'm gonna play it. I keep saying that I will change it, but it'll be a while between now and when I get my hand on Ikoria cards. And so, but I'm planning to make some PowerPoint Ikoria videos. Just because it's going to be such a long time before I get any of the cards. So here we go. So Alela. I probably said the wrong thing. By the way, every time that I mention the recent set that Richard Garfield worked on, I can't for the life of me say Dominaria. You know, it's just, it's Dominaria. Yeah, I have half a box of Dominaria that I'm waiting to unload on Commander builds, most likely this year. Anyways, so Alela is an Esper Commander, Flying Death Touch Life Link. Then your flyers get +1/+0, other flyers. And whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment, you can create a flying fairy. So that's very clear. Now the deck has very few creatures because it's an artifact and an enchantment deck. So really it's only got 4, 8, 11. So when I boost it up from 11, I'm really only adding, I don't know, 5 creatures, something like that, to keep the balance with artifacts and enchantments. And so I have a bunch of creatures, but I'm going to be very, very picky. Alright, so what are the creatures that are already in Alela? Massacre Girl is fantastic. I've played Massacre Girl not only with the Alela deck when they let us play it for free, but also just in other decks that I built with Massacre Girl. And this card is fantastic, man. Fantastic. A really brutal play when done right. And almost all the time it's going to be done right. So when it comes in, it starts. It drops -1/-1 on each other creature. Of course, that includes your own, so you got to be careful. And you don't have a lot of creatures in this deck, so it doesn't really matter to you, but it does to your opponent if they're on creatures. And then when any one of those creatures die, then boom, it triggers a bunch of other -1/-1. So you get this chain where, say, your opponent has 2 1/1s, 2 2/2s, 2 3/3s, 2 4/4s. That ladder is not broken, and the 1/1s go out, they take out the 2 2s, the 2 2s go out, they take out the 3 3s. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful sight to behold in a deck with black. So yeah, I love this card. Then this card gets power from artifacts and or enchantments, and that's what you're on in this deck. And it's also an artifact creature, so it itself is an artifact. Then another artifact creature, the flyer. It's got great devotion, but we're not doing anything with devotion here. Not a lot of people seem to be doing anything with devotion these days. Yeah, you know, I'm always trying to figure ways to jab Theros too. Yeah, flyer enters the battlefield. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, and look for an artifact and enchantment in those cards. That's great, great card. Then Flying Vigilance, 3 1/1. And it gets +1/+1s from your artifacts and your enchantments. Fantastic in this deck. Then an artifact creature, so it's already an artifact. Untap target artifact or creature you control. Nice, very nice. Flyer, and then you can turn one of your non-creature artifacts into an artifact creature. Put some counters on it. That's great. I love the adventures. They're 2 for 1s. I mean, there's nothing, you can't go wrong with them. Okay, then your Sephara. It's just a big flyer with lifelink, and of course you're on flyers too. You're going to try to, if you have creatures in this deck, you want to be you want as many of them as possible to be flyers, and most of them are in the deck that come with the deck. Great devotion as well. Not using it here. Artifact creatures you control have flying. That's great. And then you may have another non-creature artifact. So yeah, so this card has the ability of the adventure card. Where was it? It's got this adventure stapled on it. Yeah, that's nice. Very consistent from Eldraine. And another flyer, 6/6. And if you control 4 or more artifacts, it gets hexproof. And tap 2 artifacts, draw a card. That's really great. Really great. Solid flyer that also lords for flying. I mean, this is a great uncommon from M20. So there you have it. Those are the 11 cards that are your creatures. And I think this video is just going to be creatures, so I'm not going to talk about anything else in the deck. Just go, you know, straight to creatures. I'm going to do the cards that are in sleeve first. Of course, this card is in both builds because I put toolkits in both. But it doesn't really fit this deck. And I'm going to be extremely picky. It has to be a flyer. It has to be a flyer. Not sure. I'll just put the good flyer. I'll put all the flyers in one bin, in one group, and then just make selections from them. These are all flyers. Of course, I pre-selected all these cards from a large selection. I didn't want to go through every single card. As selections 1 and 2 have gotten bigger, I don't go through all of them in the builds. This guy is high on my list. Very high on my list. This guy is also very high on the list. Because it's one of those, your deck is my deck card. Really like it. I hate when I play against it in Arena. Another fantastic card. Yeah, a flyer. I mean, it draws you cards, but it doesn't fly. It flies, but we're looking for something more, you know, impactful. Like this dude. Yeah, like this dude. And it doesn't hurt to have a high-end flyer and commander. I'll keep it in the selection pile. And this guy is also a big dude, flying trampler. Deals combat damage to a player. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's really a good critter from the toolkit. Flyer, but we're looking for high-end flyers. Looking for big flyers. These little flyers, we're not gonna use them. And we only really need, I think I only really need like 6 adapts, but that doesn't matter here. And of course, this dude, the Terramander, is about instants and sorceries. If it said artifacts and enchantments, I go gaga for it. Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. And I'm not really playing surveil tricks. Nice to have a high-end flyer, so I'll put it in the under consideration. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you may have it become a copy of another target creature, except it has this ability. Man, that's nice. I want to put it in my pile to select. Low-end flyers, not doing them. I mean, I'm going to go super picky. Now, Spark Double is nice because I'm copying a creature or planeswalker. Yeah. I mean, that's nice. It's worth it's worth thinking about. These are nice flyers, but I'm just going to be super picky. I mean, any one of these comments, I'm just not going to even bother. I'm just going to say, yeah, you're here. You're a card in standard. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. We will see you in another build. Because we really are looking for critters on my high end of the mana curve, and I'm going to fill all of my low end in the mana curve with everything else. Okay, so I'm going to go through and pick what I think are, yeah, maybe like 5 really good ones. And again, it's nice to look at something and say, oh, I would love to do this, but it's very different from, I gotta have this. This guy says enchantments. But it's gonna keep becoming a copy of something. Yeah, I'm just not. Turn target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. That's nice. Flying trample, and when it deals combat damage to a player, that player sacrifices a creature. That's a pretty good. I'm gonna put it in as one of my selections. Return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. That's a nice high-end effect. But this guy is the guy I want for sure. This guy's small, but he's a flyer. I'm not gonna. Your deck is my deck. Exile one of them face down. Yeah, may look at it, may cast it. I really like that. And I like this guy, even though he's only a 4-drop. And then for the big angels, other creatures you control have vigilance. That's really nice. Vigilance is definitely underrated. We already have enough flyers. A little bit of a nice death and taxes clause, but we have really good flyers to pick from. And yeah, my toolkit friends have been really helpful to date in all these builds. But now, as the selection's gotten bigger, and I think I'm still going to remain in standard for a little while longer. I keep saying I'm going to expand to everything, but I kind of like the limitation for standard. And yeah, I would ask you to put comments if you could, and I'm sorry that you can't. I mean, these guys are good, but this guy just keeps changing into something else. Yeah, I'm not on that trick. So really, I think we've got 5 creatures in here, and I think I'm going to take all of them. And I would look through my finalists and say, is there a 6th critter that really wants to get on the wagon before we take off? And nothing in here is screaming, how dare you not include me in this deck yet. Even though they're all good high top-end flyers. I mean, put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature with flying is nice. This would have been a maybe. And this guy is great, but I'm looking at the high end. So I would say that this guy is right now in. And I would say that these other dudes and the deaths are definitely in. So flying death touch hexproof, great. Flying, my deck is your deck. Not great effect, just start pinging the daylights to each player when it gets down. Well, it does it all the time, but then it starts getting counters when we are low on life. And yeah, nice big 7/7/7 flying trample that causes sacking. Yeah, so these are my 6 critters that I want to put in here. I'm going to stop right here and make sure I have the right count, because I'm not mixing the cards from Alela to the other cards. I'm keeping Alela as it is, and then eventually I'll put it in its own fat pack box. It's a 7-year project, and I'm only 1 year in for these commander fat pack cubes that I want to build. So I'm taking my time. All right.